Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for clicking on the video. This is David Pendleton and today we're talking about the Heroes of Rock tournament. This is going to be Pro Division qualifying round. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and just show you the scorecards here real quick. I'm minus 15 on both of my accounts, and of course depending on the brackets that you're in, it's going to depend on the competition. But you'll see here these minus 15s are hanging out, doing pretty well. So I'm very happy with the qualifying rounds. The one thing that I'm really happy about with Nordic Forwards is I have a ton of replays saved on my computer. You'll notice earlier last week I did a rookie division walkthrough. I just didn't have time to get to the pro. But the good news is I have a ton of replays with the exact same wind angles that really helped me out in the qualifying round. And I've got my fingers crossed that'll be the same for the for the opening round and finals. But we'll see. There are some wind angles that I'm missing replays on. But qualifying round went really well because of that. So here this is a little bit different. You've probably never seen me get these type of detailed notes on Pro before. But we're going to go 10% at max. And then we're going to push up 8 to 10 yards. The 8 to 10 yards is just a guesstimate. It's going to be depending on your wind strength. Here's 6.4 miles an hour. This is on the low end of using a berserker, all right? Now, you could push up a little bit more if you wanted to, but the key to this one is the top spin, and that's where my previous replays really came in handy. I knew exactly what type of top spin to use. We're going to go 2 bars of right side spin with a little bit more than 1 top. Now you're going to see here that the max distance on our extra mile with the berserker is the plus 30. So if you don't understand the push-up, you're going to see how easy it is. Now watch, when I pull my rings, I go from the plus 30 to the plus 18. I'm going to turn around, and now I wanted to bring this back to the plus 28, which is 10 yards, because remember 6.4 is on the low end, but I accidentally did it 1 short, but that's fine. That's no problem at all. You're going to see that we come in very nicely here. Plenty of real estate to work with. And we land on the fringe for a very, very short chip-in shot. If you're somebody who plays with an APOC, I went ahead and did the same shot with an APOC, which you're going to see here. APOC, you don't have to push up as many yards typically just because the club is more powerful, but I still did the same 5 to 10. You're going to be fine as long as you get the top spin right. Now, this account is almost out of berserkers, but this ball is the exact same stat as a berserker, except it gives you more side spin. I did not utilize the side spin, so I'm using this ball in place of berserk, but notice here we're at the plus 31. Again, that's because the APOC is more powerful. Now we're at the plus 16, and then I pull it back up to the plus 22. So I pulled it up, 6 more yards there. Same type of shot with the overpower, same type of curl. Hit a great right, but still at the end of the day, this is going to be a really nice shot. This is going to leave us for another short chip-in shot here for the eagle. So there's 2 different clubs on how to eagle hole number 1. Now we're going to go to hole number 2. Hole number 2 was nice because we've had this wind angle in tournaments past too, and there's actually a line that we get to play. There's also a trick shot on this hole, and sometimes where we start with a different club and then we switch out to our sniper, but that is going to be in a different wind angle, so we'll see. I hope we get that one because it was like an automatic hole-in-one. But here, this one I was close in the last tournament, or the last time we played this one. But check this shot out. We're going to go with half a bar of side spin to the left, combined with about 0.1 to 0.2 back. We're going to put our red ring right here on the rough line. Now this just happens to be the sniper 10 is at the plus 2 yard mark, but here's what I'm looking for, okay? And I try to zoom in so you all can get a good look at this, but it's going to be hard because these green squares are not the easiest to see. I want you to notice the very end of my ball guideline is in that dark green vertical row. I am playing right on the left-hand side of that dark green square, but there is a little bit of separation from dark green to where my ball guideline is. So I'm going to show you this shot twice because it was a hole-in-one both times. I'm pulling it 30% at mid. So again, 30% at mid is going to be our pull here. I hit this shot 2 for 2 with perfect balls. You'll see it comes in dead center. So here, that's one replay. Here's a, sorry, I went too far. I have it, that's 5.6 miles an hour. Okay. Here's another one at 5.1. But again, 30% at mid, half back, and then, 0.2, 0.1 right, something like that. You see it right there. You want to set your spin first and then see how the ball guideline is short, and then watch when I move my target back. When I move it back, then we get it fully developed. And then both times it ends up being the +2, just like that. Red ring right there, very close, or onto the rough line, just like that. Now I zoom in as far as I can to show you what I mean by that dark green vertical row. I'm on the left-hand side of that dark green vertical row, but there is a little bit of dark green square to the left of my ball guideline. Okay? Same thing here with our wind adjustment, 30% at mid. Perfect ball. And this one goes in the hole as well. So I'm pretty happy to get a hole-in-one on this one. 2 for 2 is always nice. But this ball comes in very nicely on both accounts. And, I mean, it is dead center for the hole-in-one. So, again, just remember, on hole number 2, you're going to set your spin first. You're going to move your target back until you get that fully developed ball guideline. You're going to put the red ring right there on the rough and then pull 30% at mid. And then hope for that perfect shot. Here we're going to play 10% at max. This shot is easier with an APOC, but I went ahead and did it with the extra mile just so you can see that is doable there as well. Again, the APOC is better club option. 3 top, 3 right. Then we switch it here. I switched it to 5 top, 3 right. So 5 top, 3 right. And then I want the ball guideline looking just like that. I want that second bounce up there on that fairway. And then we'll talk about this drive here in a second. Or this hole in general. Notice the amount of curl that I'm using here, and I even hit a great ball, which really had me sweating bullets. I thought I was going to be in trouble. But this ball actually came in just fine. No issues with the great ball to the right there. Maybe a left would be dangerous. Now, you might be wondering about driving on the left-hand side. So you can drive on the left-hand side if you would like. It's going to leave a very long, difficult shot to go in between these 2 bunkers and probably over this rough to the hole. I would imagine you would really need to use a power 5 ball, and the higher wind resistance, the better. Now, I did screw this up on one of my accounts and picked up a birdie. It's because I didn't use enough overpower, and I was playing by the sand line. Here you see that I'm way to the right-hand side of the sand. I am going with more overpower and left curl to get it back towards the pin. My other account, I messed up and I hit the sand, but I was playing too close to the sand and I hit a great left, which is why you see me completely change my approach on this account. So, I did a -15 on both accounts, and that's with a birdie on this hole on one account. So keep that in mind. We do have a -16 here to show you. All right, now it's going to be hole number 4. Hole number 4, we're going to play at 30% at mid. We're going to go 5 back, 2 right. This is also a situation where we're going to set our spin first, and then we're going to look for a specific point on these dark and light green squares. So I zoom in here to give you a look at what I'm aiming at. Notice the end of my ball guideline is in the light green square patch, and then I'm left-hand side of that bottom corner of the light green. I think we need to move this over just a little bit more. I do get the hole-in-one here, but I hit a perfect ball on both of my accounts, and this was the lower wind. My other wind was like 6.2, I believe, and I came into the right-hand side of the hole. So that's why I say I think we should move this target zone a little bit to the left. Now, not a whole lot, but here you're going to see in this wind strength, 5.5 is not that high, but we do get it just into the right-hand side of the cup. So there's our replay for hole number 4. Good chance for a hole-in-one. Now we go to hole number 5. Oh, hole number 5, I messed up on an account too. I forgot about that. I actually picked up a birdie on my other account, so I could have had a minus 16 on both of my accounts. I forgot I picked up a bird here. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 different drives. The first one is going to be with a Titan. Half a ball of curl to the left here. 2 bars of side spin to the left with 2 top. I would say that I want to take this top spin down to 1.5 top. I'd rather have you go 1.5 top, 2 left, same landing point. Second drive is with the Kingmaker, as you're going to see here. I did the same thing though with the top spin, but this time I went with full left. The left side spin is definitely an advantage on this hole, and you can see where I'm aiming here. Notice here I'm aiming right-hand side of the fairway just like that. You might be wondering, why don't I just move my target over to the left a little bit and get my ball guideline pointing down to the middle of the fairway? It's because I'm leaving myself room for a great left. So a great left is going to be okay if I'm leaving this much room, which is why I'm going to use that much curl. So I'm only using half a ball of curl, which is not a lot. But keep in mind, it is easy to accidentally overpower a shot when you're using curl like this. Make sure you don't do that. Here I hit a great right, and the drive is still fine too. But I also, with the Kingmaker, I want you to reduce it to 1.5 bars of topspin, because as you can see, I'm really flirting with the dangerous zone there by almost rolling into the rough. Here's what shot 2 looks like. Of course, this is going to be the shot with the Titan. Here, you're going to notice I'm going to go with a little bit of backspin. I'm trying to see if there's any type of consistency on this landing zone here. I don't find any. I have no replays of me ever albatrossing this hole in tournament play. Now, I've only been keeping my replays for probably the past 6 to 8 months. So we're limited with what we can work with. But, you know, I do get close. Let's fast forward a little bit through the time here, as you're going to see that we come in on this one to the left-hand side. The speed is really good. But we take a look at here now that we're going to do the Kingmaker shot, right? Same thing, a little bit of backspin, and you'll kind of take note of where I'm aiming on this one. Since I missed to the left-hand side the first time, I'm offsetting left-hand side of pin. And we make our wind adjustment here. Okay. And then when did you know, of course, you know, now I missed to the right-hand side. But I think this one's like an inconsistent bounce you get up towards the pin. I think this is going to be a hard one to pick up an alba on, at least something that would be easy to duplicate, right? But that's a safe eagle there, and now we go to hole number 6. Hole number 6, I picked up an eagle on one account. I picked up a birdie on my other account, but that's because I hit a great shot on the second shot. I'm going to show you both drops. You know, I had to test this one out in practice because this hole's always a more difficult one to pick up the drive on, at least to get it right. So you're going to notice here, I'd say the curl is the biggest thing to take note of, to make sure we get the curl right. And let's kind of, this one's really, really important. Let's take our time here. I'm sorry. Let's do this. 3 bars of side spin to the right combined with 5 top. So 5 top, 3 right, then find your landing spot. Your landing spot's going to be right here with a little bit of your yellow ring in the rough, just like this, okay? And I guess you can take a look that my ball guideline is pointing basically to the middle of that rough section that has like that rock in the middle of it. But more importantly, my second bounce is in the fairway. So that's what I'm looking at here, okay? Now we make our wind adjustment, and then we go with our curl. There's our curl, just like that. You don't want to over curl this shot because you could clip the rough over here. You'll see what I mean? You could clip that rough, and you don't want to do that. So, you know, that might have been a little bit too much curl, but it worked out just fine. Now, this here we're in practice mode, so I'm testing the distance of my club, and I see that I can probably play it right at mid-distance. 1 bar of backspin, and then we always want to play it further back down here, away from the fringe on this hole. So just like this. That's a good spot to be at. Ball guideline going through the pin, you see there? Make our adjustment 0% at mid. This is 4.8 mile per hour wind. So you're going to see here we pulled about, I think it was 2.2 rings, something like that. Perfect ball. And this thing has no problem getting to the hole, pretty much dead center, okay? Now, this is going to be in real mode here, 6.5 mile per hour wind. That's the only reason that I'm showing you 2 drops is because we are getting 2 miles an hour more than our last attempt. But I went ahead and played it the exact same way. We're going to be playing this one 0% at mid. Perfect ball. And we're nicely into the cup again. All right. That is going to take us on to this hole right here. Now, I can't get this hole to stop missing to the right? No, I can't get this hole to stop missing to the left no matter what I did. So we're just going to go play it just like this, nice and safe. I tried to use right curl too, and I really don't like to advise using right curl on this hole. I played it 1 for 1 because if you use too much right curl, you can actually just stick this one right in the rough or the sand. So it's kind of like a fine line. But you're going to notice how much curl I use. Barely any. Like we call that baby curl. It's not even touching the inner wall target. Plenty of room to work with, so I guess we could try more. But no matter what I did here, I couldn't get this one to stop missing to the left-hand side. So, you know, maybe some of you get a better shot than that and something that's going to be able to be duplicated. I'd love to see a really consistent hole-in-one. Like if you pick it up 2 times or more, let me know. Hole number 8, this one I just did terrible on, to be perfectly honest with you. So this is kind of like my fluke one. So I cost myself a stroke on the par 5s, but I was lucky here, and I eagled this one twice out of the sand. Who would have thought, right? And that'll never happen in the final round. I guarantee you, if I stick something in the sand in the final round, I'm 100% picking up the birdie. But, of course, the game gives it to me in qualifying. But I did hit perfect shots out of the sand on both times. So here I'm going with top spin combined with right side spin. And that's the shot that I think I like better. But I backed it up, okay? Look how heavy the wind is. I backed it up to have 1 bounce in front of the sand and the second bounce over the sand. I think the way that I'd rather try to play it next time is this right here. So I think I'd rather just play it right there. Overpower over the sand with left curl. Like I think that's the best way to go. But if you're a player that has power 5 balls and high wind resistance, you're going to be off to a big advantage on headwind on this hole. And we probably won't get headwind again on this hole, so it's good to get it out of the way on qualifying. Now, but you're going to see here that I take a normal shot because I thought the shot was lined up correctly with a little bit of curl. I think what happens here is the secondary wind push when the ball touches down right there, it just kills me and I die. But like I said, I did this on both accounts and I made it out of the bunker on both my accounts, which you'll see here. So if you get in the same position as me, when I play out of the bunkers and out of the sand or out of the rough, I always do the full topspin approach. It's something that I've been doing ever since I really learned how to play the game. Like once I learned the ring system and stuff. But I just aimed over here to the right-hand side. I don't ever pull rings typically when I'm coming out of the sand or rough. I just use landing spots. And for this one, it worked out. There is a nice little slope into this hole, which is all I was going for. But, I pick up the eagle, so we call that one luck, at the end of the day. And that's going to bring us on to hole number 9. Hey, if you're new to the channel, I hope you found this helpful. Please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button and give it a like. That would be awesome. Hole number 9, I'll tell you this. Again, I'm using a Titan ball here. You could definitely go with a Kingmaker. You could go with a Power 4, Power 5 ball. Again, the higher wind resistance, the better for shot number 2. You're also going to want to bring your Cataclysm or your Big Dog. For me, I'm comfortable hitting perfect in overpower. If you're not, bring a bigger ball, okay? Here I'm going with about half a ball of OP. Half a ball, I mean like half of my ball was in the bottom part of the adjustment window. That's what I call half a ball of OP. I think that's easier for people to understand. So I'll show you exactly what I mean. Right here, you see where my ball's at? You see how half of it is in that adjustment zone, maybe a little bit more? That's the overpower that I used. All right. Shot number 2, the Cataclysm here. This is all going to depend on how far you get on your drive, if you need to use topspin or if you need to use backspin with your Cataclysm. One account, I went full overpower, and I hit a perfect shot. I destroyed the ball up the fairway. I actually had to use backspin on my Cataclysm shot. I'm showing you the more difficult replay because I think this is where a lot of people are going to be, unless you're using more powerful balls. I wouldn't suggest going absolute max OP on the drive, because if you hit great left or great right, you're probably going to end up in the rough, and that's going to spell disaster on this hole. But here, this one at the end of the day, we're going to take this all day in this wind angle and pick up an eagle. I'll take an eagle every time on this hole if you could guarantee it. Hey, that's it. Please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up, and I will see you Thursday for the next rounds. Thanks, everybody.